Movie sword training course tip 2. What are some good two-handed longsword grips and stances? That's what we'll answer in today's video. Hi, my name is Dylan Wilson with CBT Stunt Alliance. Train hard, perform easy. We help actors, stunt performers, and filmmakers learn professional stunt training for use in film, TV, and live action entertainment. Before we get underway, if you'd like to add two-handed longsword movie sword fighting training to your current acting or stunt performer skill set, check out our highly popular master course at movieswordfighting.com or click on the link below this video. You can learn sword attacks, sword counterattacks, cinematic sword draws, sword choreography, sword reactions, how to market your career, and more. Go to movieswordfighting.com for more information. You can sign up now and start training now. Okay, so we get a lot of questions about movie sword fighting techniques and tips. So we're going to share a few things with you. Now, I'm actually an experienced stunt coordinator turned full-time director. This is something I planned from the beginning of my career, up to and including attending and graduating film school as a director. Along my journey, I learned that being a stunt coordinator made me a better director, and being a director made me a better stunt coordinator. Now, how this benefits you is that I can share with you insights and experience from both sides of the camera, as well as through all phases of production. When we thought about what would benefit you the most, we decided to do a 6-part free video series that would teach you some of the basics. So you learn enough about movie sword fighting to put together choreography for your reel, for upcoming auditions, and even your own content. For actual performances and highly competitive auditions, you need more training like what we provide in our movie sword fighting master course. Why does this work? Because for self-tapes and mini sword auditions and performances, you only have to look like you know how to use a longsword, right? If you're not the lead or a featured fighter, you're gonna launch anywhere from 0 to 2 moves and then you get killed. Check out this clip from the movie The Lord of the Rings. Now, how many strikes did each performer get to throw in that action sequence? Exactly. So in this video, we're going to cover good two-handed longsword grips and stances. So pick up your practice longsword, and if you don't have one, watch our previous video that shows you some options on how to get one, even on how to get some for free. All right, so let's get underway. Now, we teach from the martial art known as CBT, which is a very combative art. Yet within the art, there is a theatrical portion. So when we used to do live action entertainment, there were techniques that we use for audiences that were not in the combative system. Because again, if the mission is to entertain people, then it's, we wanted to entertain them. So the things that you're going to learn are from theatrical CBT. They're still combat sound and combat effective, yet they're designed to get the audience like really pumped up and hyped up and sitting on the edges of their seat. All right, so the first thing we're going to cover is how to actually grip the sword. Because what you don't want to do is look like a noob with a sword. You're up there on camera, movies or something, and they can tell you don't know anything about holding a sword, even gripping a sword. So there are actually 3 ways of gripping a sword. I'm going to cover all 3 now. So we're going to use the two-handed longsword, double-edged sword. And the first way is called the hammer grip. It's just like if you had a hammer in your hand, you're about to hammer in a nail, right? So what you do is, we'll say your lead hand, and we're going to say if I'm in a right lead, which means my right foot is forward, my right hand's forward, that's going to be the hand I put right there, right below the cross guard, okay? And if you notice, it's just like holding a hammer. So if there was a nail right here, I'd be hammering this thing, just like that. Now the other hand goes on the bottom. The support hand goes on the bottom. And with this one, you always want to have some kind of space there. For the most part, there are times when some people don't. There's different theories on it, yet for the most part, on camera, keep some space between it. So the hand can be like this. This portion is called the pommel. So the hand can be grabbing right there on the pommel, because we actually do use that as a weapon. Or you can have the pommel in the center of this palm, like that. See that? and you can use it like that too. So either way is fine. Here, where some of the pommel is exposed, or here, where the pommel is grabbed in the middle of your hand. This is the hammer grip. The bottom hand is always the same. It's either going to be like this or like this. The top hand is what changes. So this is the hammer grip. All right. Now, grip number 2 is the relaxed hammer grip. Why? Why is there a relaxed hammer grip? The hammer grip is good. For film is fine, yet for actual combat, you give up some range, because you see how I can't really straighten it out, right? I actually give up some power too. So what I can do is I can use something called the relaxed hammer grip. And watch what happens to the sword when I just kind of relax the hand. See that? All I did was relax my hand, and you see I got more range with the sword. This is the hammer grip. You see where it is, right? The only way I can get that type of range is to do this with my wrist, which is not good. I can dislocate my wrist. There's already a lot of pressure on my wrist anyway. I want my wrist strong. So hammers like this, relaxed hammers like this. And all you're doing is relaxing your hand. The bottom hand is still on the bottom, either with the pommel exposed or again with the pommel in the middle. And this is correct. And notice the position of the thumb. Again, just like a hammer. If you notice, one of the things we always emphasize is training on both sides. So whenever we teach people, we teach them to be ambidextrous. If you're a stunt performer, you may be called upon to stunt double someone, and guess what? That actor may be left-handed. It happens. And if you're only training on the right side, that may cost you the gig. So make sure you train ambidextrously. You also learn faster that way. So again, hammer, relax hammer. Hammer, relax hammer. All right? So that's grip number 2. The third grip is a grip that we call the thumb grip. And this is why I'm using this sword in particular, just so you can see it, because there are single-edged long swords. With the thumb grip, the support hand is still doing the same thing. It never changes. If you notice, my thumb is now in the center of the blade. See how it looks? It's almost like if this were a long dagger. If I had a dagger, my thumb is going to be in the middle of that dagger, just like it is here. And what this does is, even in certain positions, it gives me more leverage, with the sword, as opposed to if the thumb wasn't there, I don't have as much, leverage or structure beneath the sword, and enables me to do things that I wouldn't normally be able to do. The sword is also positioned like this with the hammer grip, and with the thumb grip, you see how it's kind of turned to the side, right? And this is how the thumb grip looks. Some people hold it like this. We in CBT, we just do it like this. One of the reasons is because if your opponent's sword, if you hold it like this and your opponent's sword slides down, what happened to the tip of your thumb? You just got a piece of it chopped off. So if you keep it here and that happens, you're completely protected. Yet different systems have different theories for why they do things. This is how we do it. So this is the thumb grip. Again, I'll switch hands so you can see it. The thumb grip is right there in the center. See where my hand is? And see how the sword is horizontal now? It doesn't have to stay that way yet. It kind of naturally goes that way when you actually have the thumb grip. And those are the 3 grips. So if you need to, pause the video now and try going through each of those 3 grips. All right, so the second thing are stances. Now, in theatrical CBT, we keep it simple. There's only 2 stances. There's front stance and side stance. I'm going to show you an example of each. Now, in the stance, watch my feet. The rear foot, actually I'll do it facing forward first. The rear foot points towards the opponent, towards the center line, or actually towards the sideline of the opponent. The lead foot is like this, also pointing forward. So both of our feet point forward. And you kind of envision railroad tracks that we're walking on. See, I'm walking on those railroad tracks. I'm not crossing in front of my feet, so I can tie my feet up. So if I'm here and I step forward, I'm still on that railroad track. See that? So our feet face forward with front stance. This foot faces directly forward, and this foot faces forward. Now here's the thing. With the weight distribution is 95% on the rear leg and 5% on the front leg. So we're kind of like this. I'm going to exaggerate it a bit so you can see it, yet the lead heel is slightly elevated, right? Not quite that high, yet slightly off the ground. Your opponent won't notice it. So we're like this. And then when we actually go to attack, which we're going to show in another video how to actually launch the attacks, it'll be the very next video, we actually explode forward from that rear foot, right? So that's how front stance looks. Once again, you see it here. I'm going to switch leads. See that? We'll do it from this side. I'm going to exaggerate it a bit. You see how this knee is bent? 95% is on the rear leg, 5% on the front. So I can switch very quickly. I can move very agile with the footwork. Now, something to know is that other systems do it differently. I'll give you an example, like Kendo. I trained in Kendo for like a year. Their weight distribution on average is about 40-60, where they'll have 60% of their weight on the lead leg and 40% on the rear leg with their rear heel off the ground. And other systems will have it 50-50, right? So if your character calls for that, you need to know those things, right? Yeah, for right now, just know for what we're doing, 95% on the rear, 5% on the front. And this is called front stance. Front stance is because both feet are actually moving forward. Now, something to know, what you can do is transfer your weight from one foot to the other without moving your feet for dramatic effect. So if I'm here in natural posture, right, as you were, if I'm here in front stance and I have 95% on the rear leg and I want to do something dramatic, I can do this. See, now I've transferred 95% to the front foot, 5% on the rear foot. And I come back. See this? Now I can go forward again. And just by doing these subtle motions, all of a sudden it looks very dramatic, and all I'm doing is shifting the weight from one foot to the next. The audience doesn't know that, they just know that you look pretty badass. And I'm just doing some of the guards, which we're going to cover in the next video. And I'll do the same thing from this side so you can see it. All I'm doing is transferring the weight from one foot to the next. 95% on the rear, 95% on the front. 95% on the rear, 95% on the front, right? So those are the subtleties for how to accomplish more by doing less. Now, the second stance that we use is called side stance. And side stance is exactly that. It's not really a stance that you come out and engage in combat with. It's a stance that maybe someone has attacked you in it, and you just kind of find yourself there, and it's transitional, so you don't stay in side stance. And what side stance is, if we go start from a front stance, I'll do front stance in my right lead, is I'm just going to step across this foot here. And if you notice, I'm still on railroad tracks. So there's a railroad track here and a railroad track there. So I could actually cross step and move very quickly because I'm still on those railroad tracks. So as you're in a side stance, you don't want to be like this, right? Or you don't want to be like this. Once again, you're here 95% on the rear leg and 5% on the front leg. And it can be, any type of posture that you're in, or any type of guard that you're in when you're doing it, you're like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch leads so you can see side stance from different angles. So this is side stance, right lead, side stance, left lead. Right, side stance, left lead. I'm going to switch leads again. Side stance, right lead. And you see, just this basic movement has a lot of drama and can build up tension. If your character's here and you're closing in like this on a person you're attacking, you accomplish so much more. Remember, it's what you do in these little moments that make all the difference. So go ahead and pause the video now and practice doing the two stances, front stance and side stance. Now, as we mentioned earlier, if you're an actor or stunt performer, you want to be aware of the style that your character is using in a film or TV project, because it will determine everything. If it's a project that features, say, a lot of European fighters with European styles, the movement is going to be different than, say, if it's something that features someone who's using African martial arts, right? Again, it would be different someone who's using Asian martial arts, because the movements are going to be different. There's going to be subtle differences between each role. And you want to be aware of that, you know, when you're actually performing. Speaking of which, check this out.
Let's take a sneak peek and look inside this master course that was made by pro stunt coordinators, actors, stunt performers, and filmmakers for professional actors, stunt performers, and filmmakers, even content creators. By the way, if you're a martial artist, you're going to learn how to convert your martial arts skills into movies and TV. And the first thing you notice is that we designed our platform to be very intuitive and easy to use. Right, the moment you're in there, whether you're on your computer or your phone, you can pretty much figure out what to do very quickly. Each one of our master courses start off with an introduction and a safety briefing, so you actually get to meet your instructors. And each one, you know, they go over their background, their qualifications, that sort of thing, as well as going over an actual safety briefing. Now, we always want you to learn as much as possible, so along with that comes with your own cheat sheet. There's also a private online social community, which we'll actually cover later. You actually get our email address and information to actually reach us. This is the two-handed sword video breakdown. Covers swords, grips, stances, 15 attacking angles, everything to give you a strong, solid foundation. The two-handed sword masterclass. Now you notice that our course is broken down into units. So this is a unit, this is a unit, and each unit is broken down into a class or instructional. Each of these is an instructional. Each one's about 10 minutes long. We like to keep them about 10 minutes or bite size and not too long. Some are a bit longer because they have to be. And for the most part, they're about 10 minutes, so you can actually learn more effectively. This one covers a lot of the sword counterattacks. We'll actually take a look at one here. This is a weapon shielded 4, so we'll take a look at this one. And you see everything is broken down, explained step by step, demonstrated, so you know exactly how it should look, you know, how it should flow. Now, one of the many other cool things is that we include what we call live action video displays. They actually are clips from movies and TV shows, so you actually can see, you know, what the choreography could look like when it's in a movie. So we'll take a look at one here. This is a clip from Kingdom of Heaven. And you can see how it actually all comes together. So the stuff that you're learning, you see it's different than if you're doing combat sword fighting, because they're going to shoot it differently, they're going to edit it differently, and this helps you to really lock in your lessons. Here is one of the most popular classes in this course is the two-handed sword drawing and resheathing clinic, where you learn all sorts of ways of cinematically drawing the sword. You know, when you can do a cool sword draw, they're definitely going to be, you know, favoring you in the camera. So let's take a look at one of them here. We'll go with this one. This is the sword in the earth position, just so you can see what it kind of looks like. And you see step by step broken down. You showed exactly what to do, how to do it over and over again. So it doesn't matter if you are a ranked beginner, everything is broken down and explained to you so that you are clear on how to safely and effectively perform each of these movie sword sequences. This one is our monthly Sharpen and Polish video conference lab. Each month we do this, and it's designed to actually help you with your career. Try it 48 hours risk-free. After reviewing the entire course, if you don't like what you see and it doesn't work for you, we'll refund every penny. Who else lets you go through their movie sword training, and then if you're not happy after looking at all the training, gives you a complete refund? Bottom line, we're passionate about making our customers happy and keeping them that way.
So well worth the investment if you're serious about learning two-handed longsword movie sword fighting. One last caveat, we always encourage actors and stunt performers to video record themselves with their camera phone so they can see how they actually look on camera. You want to know how you look on camera. The camera doesn't lie. So whatever you see on your camera phone is how you're most likely going to look on the big screen. So make sure you like this video and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on video 3 of our 6-video series and our free movie sword fighting course. Also sign up for our Pro Stunt Tips email newsletter to get movie sword fighting tips in your inbox. Also, if you like more information on our highly popular two-handed longsword master course, go to movieswordfighting.com or click on the link below this video. Prepare to have your mind blown. Again, my name is Dylan Wilson with CBT Stunt Alliance. Train hard, perform easy. Don't miss our next video where we'll share with you another movie sword fighting tip. See you next video.